Rejection. Rejection's pretty hard, isn't it? If you've ever experienced rejection, you tried to get into a club and you weren't accepted. Maybe you had somebody you cared about and they've rejected you and they didn't return that love to you. Maybe you proposed something at work and they rejected your ideas. Rejection is a difficult thing. Well, as I look at Luke chapter 19 through 23, Jesus' last week of his life, rejection is what comes to mind. It's hard to comprehend. They rejected the Son of God. The people who God had sent prophets to, had sent his law to, had told them that he is coming, they ended up rejected him. And it's something that's so common. But the Gospel of Luke lets us know that Jesus was rejected. It had been happening in a number of different ways. When Jesus gets there, he shows up at the temple, and the religious people had turned religion into a money-making scheme. He cleans out the temple because religious people were just in it for the money. They had rejected what God wanted. Jesus comes and he tells a story in many of his Gospels about a man who planted a vineyard and he set up everything for it to make money. He gave it to some individuals who were supposed to pay him rent, but when he sent his servants, they abused them. Some of them they abused, others they killed. So he says, I'll send them my son. Surely they'll listen to him. But when the son comes, they say, well, here's the heir. Let's kill him and we'll have it all. What was Jesus telling them? I knew that you would reject me. You're going to kill the Son of God. But he quotes to him from Psalm 118, verse 22, the stone that the rejectors built became the chief cornerstone. So Jesus came, and as he faced that last week, he was facing a week of rejection. But he also tells his followers and tells us as well that they're not only going to reject me, they're going to reject you as well. Chapter 21, verse 17, you're going to be hated by all people because of my name. He goes on to tell them, my followers are going to die. You're going to be killed because you're going to be rejected. So they're going to be rejected by his people. In Jesus' own life, as he's there in Luke chapter 23, another word that I saw 3 different times, Pilate is going to say, he's not guilty. He's not guilty. Herod is going to say, I haven't found anything wrong with him. But what do? Once again, they're going to reject Jesus. What do they want? Crucify him. Crucify him. Why did all this happen? Because it was all part of God's plan. But I want you to see, and this is our final thought for today, Jesus' response. What's his response to rejection? In chapter 19, verse 41, he looks over Jerusalem, and he's not angry. He's upset. He weeps over Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how often did I want you to come to me, and I would have gathered you like a hen would gather her chicks. He wanted Jerusalem to come to him, but instead they rejected him. It broke his heart that people would not listen to him, and it ought to break our hearts as well. But sadly today, many people are going to be the same way. They're not going to listen to the message of Jesus. They're not going to be interested in a video looking at the last week of his life. What else did Jesus do? Chapter 23, verse 34, he looks at all these people who didn't know, and what did he say? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Jesus was rejected by man, but he loved man anyways. Well, what are our 2 thoughts for today? Number 1, God, please help me not to be discouraged by a world that rejects Jesus. Instead, look for that one soul that is open, that one soul that is needing an answer, and let me live in such a way that if I meet that person, they will know that Jesus is the answer for their life. The second thing that touched my heart was a simple message to God of thank you for your forgiveness. When I make choices that reject you, which I do, when I do things in my life that are not worthy of being called a Christian, we have a Father who looks at us and is willing to forgive us because of my relationship with him. Our Savior was rejected, but he will never reject us as long as we strive to do his will. What a great Savior we serve. Hope you guys have a great day.